When working on solving a complex problem, we go through the effort and the rigor of defining and measuring the problem, then analyzing all the different factors in the process that are contributing to the problem. When creating solutions, we explore the many different proven solutions such as 5S, Kanban, just-in-time processing, etc., to determine whether those methods might solve the specific root causes of our problem. And while they often will, sometimes we need to add unique solutions or ideas to make it work for our specific scenario. This is when we tap into brainstorming. But brainstorming doesn't just mean sitting around a meeting room listing ideas. We'll cover a few advanced techniques to generate strong solutions.
So Claire, did you know that the average child laughs about 400 times per day?
No, that's a lot.
It's crazy, eh? And they don't laugh a little bit, they laugh hard. With their whole bodies.
For sure.
They fall on the floor laughing sometimes, and you just got to watch out that they don't hurt themselves. Adults, however, are a little bit different. How many times a day do you think the average adult laughs?
I don't know, is it like 50?
Nah,
100?
Not that much.
No.
Look at me. It's 15.
Oh, sad.
And they're not big laughs. It's more small, polite, hee laughs.
Like that.
Many adults think that they are not creative, but that's not really a thing. Kids are all creative. It's just that when we grow up, a lot of us don't tap into our creativity much anymore. So good brainstorming requires that we give ourselves a chance to be creative, to open up our minds a little bit. We've done the hard work of defining, measuring, and analyzing the problem. Now we'll collaborate to come up with truly innovative ideas. Sometimes it's not as hard to get the creative thoughts into your mind as it is to get the old ones out. But we'll work on that too.
Basic brainstorming starts with a whiteboard and an objective. Try this along with us. Use your workbook page to list as many types of birds as you can. Start writing. Now, if we were to shout out seagull, you might start adding ocean birds. So keep going. Sandpiper, pelican, and then we might say foghorn leghorn. And you'll start thinking about cartoon birds like Tweety Pie and Daffy Duck and Roadrunner. And then we say pterodactyl, and you go down another whole path. The point is that we build upon each other's ideas, and that's why we say the more creative the better, and there are no bad ideas. Not at this point anyway. Basic brainstorming is stating an objective and then capturing all ideas as they're offered.
So another technique is called the anti-solution. The anti-solution sets up the brainstorming session with the objective of how do we make our problem worse? I know a lot of you know how to do this. So if our problem is that our turnaround time is too slow, the objective is to come up with ways to make it even slower. If costs are too high, how do we make them even higher? With the anti-solution, the team brainstorms ideas, and then when the ideas have been captured, they explore each one and flip it to see if they uncover any unique approaches. For example, in this list from one of our hospital customers, the team came up with no home for X-ray equipment and no one assigned to assuring that rooms are ready. When they flipped the anti-solution ideas around, they came up with two good ideas that they ended up developing.
The third technique is called a mind map. Just as in every great idea, its power lies in its simplicity. In a mind map, as opposed to traditional note-taking or a linear text, information is structured in a way that resembles much more closely how your brain actually works. This mind map about mind maps is from a website called MindMeister and a tribute to the creator of the mind map, Tony Buzan. Since it's an activity that is both analytical and artistic, it engages your brain in a much, much richer way, helping in all its cognitive functions. And best of all, it's actually fun. In this example here, it presents in a visual way the core elements and techniques on how to draw mind maps. This may look a little messy initially, but it's okay to be messy. Until we're ready to document the final process, we don't need to worry about perfection. This is about generating and capturing our ideas.
Channel brainstorming is the next technique. Channeling, in a sense, means categories. So we might brainstorm different categories of solutions, such as software, or roles, or policies. Let's try a simple example. Let's say that you are a patient in an operating room, and you can hear everything that the doctor is saying. In your workbook are two columns, or two channels, for you to capture your ideas. The first column is things you'd love to hear, and the second column is things you'd hate to hear. Take a few moments now to see how many ideas you can come up with under each of those channels.
The final technique is called analogy brainstorming. This requires us to come up with a scenario that is analogous to our current process, but different. For example, let's say that our goal is to increase sales. We might come up with the analogous scenario of a vineyard, and we'll brainstorm ideas with the team to increase our yield of grapes in the vineyard. The team will come up with ideas such as better fertilizer, ensuring proper sunshine, trimming the vines when needed, starting with healthy seeds, etc. Then the team can explore those ideas and see which of them might apply to their own scenario.
Or another example might be that our objective is to get people to follow procedures. Maybe our analogy is how to get elderly people to use a computer. The team might come up with ideas like make clear and visible instructions, give them practice activities, make sure that the tools are in good working condition, and then again, taking those ideas and seeing what can apply. This can be a really great way to get away from the stale ideas that come from working in the same industry with the same people and the same company. It's a way to open up your mind and get some new ideas in there.
When we're brainstorming, we're looking for ways to make our processes more robust and more simple. Consider brainstorming ways to increase the skills and knowledge of the employees. How to do two things at once, that's called parallel processing. How can we incorporate one-at-a-time processing instead of allowing units to sit and wait to be worked on? Where can we increase accountability for an entire job so that there's ownership from beginning to end? And how do we increase the visibility or line of sight so that people in the process can see what's going on throughout the entire process? These are some of the fundamental concepts to creating a robust process that can handle a wide variety of conditions and changes, and at the same time, creating a more simplified process with fewer steps, fewer decisions, paths, and handoffs.
Just as a quick reference, here are a few examples of the strong solutions, which includes ideas that remove waste or simplify the process, standardization of equipment or processes, automation of streamlined process, having demonstrated leadership support, which is necessary for all good results, and improving the layout to create efficiencies.
Some moderate type solutions would include things like creating checklists and job aids, minimizing workload or distractions, improving existing documentation, technical or software modification, and eliminating lookalikes and soundalikes.
And on the weaker side of ideas, we would see things like adding double checks, adding warnings or reminders, or coming up with no solution at all, suggesting that we need to continue analysis. And one of the weakest would be retraining. How many times have you heard that one? When coming up with solution ideas, it can be a real challenge to allow ourselves to be creative, especially when we have been in the process for a while. We begin to develop a lot of assumptions about what won't work and what will work.